What's up? This is Brian Life. I'm gonna do a voiceover recording because the first time I made this video with screen capture on my iPad, it wasn't working. So here I'm showing that I'm shutting on and off layers, and I'm showing how I custom painted the eyes and edited and cleaned up the image. This is one of my muses, MUZES, one of my muse characters. She's an AI character that is created through my own custom AI. I trained a model based off of my whole body of artwork for over 20 years to 30 years of doing graffiti, female characters in my own style and aesthetics and my own features and preferences of how I like to paint hair, how I like to sort of have nuances with their hairstyle and flow. So right now I think I'm just showing a bit of how I'm kind of flowing and editing hair, extra hair. So the AI that I trained will create new women, new characters in my style, but there are some defects. And this is, keep in mind, this is a low quality, just a 1080 by 10, like a 1080p, a 1K image. So I would do some basic editing and then I would upscale this later. Also utilizing AI, preferably, most likely design.ai. You should look into design.ai. Props to design. They have amazing also an enhancement feature. So you can enhance what's already there and it just cleans it up and makes it like really just kind of like extra detail and just overall gives it an amazing filter of quality. So here I am showing how I'm lightening the hair, those strokes that I just made. There's some dark parts by utilizing, right now I'm working in Procreate on the iPad. So it's kind of new to me. I don't usually use Procreate. I'm used to illustrating digitally illustrating in Photoshop for many years, or since 2020. Sorry, so 2000, so 24 years. I've been working digitally 24 years. I only recently got an iPad. So here I am showing how I'm fixing up the eyelids and cleaning and sort of working with it. But to be honest, I know that this quality is not the best as far as pixelated. So I would rather paint details like eyelashes at a higher resolution. So see how it's almost down to the pixel, like it's CryptoPunks. So I don't really need to be getting down to pixel painting. So these kind of fine details should be done on a double the size image. So I'm going to probably handle that later. But right now I'm just kind of demoing how I physically go in there and paint. It's not just AI. I literally have to edit and clean up things because it doesn't always come out great. So I'm going to speed up this. Basically, I'm just kind of going over the eyelashes, just explaining it a little bit, fixing my brush scale. Some parts I didn't like, some parts I did. Basically just kind of demoing like how I would showing go just a little bit more details, zooming in, zooming out. All right. Here I'm kind of noticing that I had a saturated, like too vibrant, the shadow on this LiFe logo. It's my tag LiFe with a little play on Adidas. So I'm kind of like talking a little bit about how I'd like to change the saturation. But I think at this point I'm just changing the different modes. And then I go out and I start to kind of show like, oh yeah, I have a bunch of other ones. Let me show them off. So I start to open the other ones. And I think I turn the layers on and off to show you how I custom edit eyes and clean them up. I'm going to turn the layer on soon. On, off, on, off. I zoom into the cheek to show that, the AI that I've trained doesn't always come out to my preference to the exact way that I would like. So I could go and paint by hand. While I do, I'd shape up and I would change all those kinds of little parts on her cheek. And basically, like, I start to, I think I wanted to, I showed another version of more of a finished character that had a lot of edits. You notice again the eyes, her cheek. If you see on her cheek, It's very dirty and like the skin tones. I think I'm just kind of showing the eyeballs and the glow from the cast, like the rays of light and the cast shadows on top of her forehead. Here, I think I'm talking about her cheekbone, how it's like dirty, and then I clean it up, and then the life tag in the back. And then here I look over the life tag on her shoulder, which I brought in as like a custom brush. I don't know if I can forward. Yeah. So anyway, I'm doing a voiceover again because the audio was terrible on the first video. So I'm going to stop this and then continue because I think I just go in and I try to paint a little bit and make the logo lighter blue so it fits more on the bulge of her shoulder and the cylindrical volume of her forearm, her arm, top shoulder, not forearm, but her arm. And then I start to show shadow, how I'm painting in shadow. Yeah, like, so I'm taking darker aqua and I'm drawing onto the logo. The logo is on its own layer. It's a life tag. It's kind of blurry right now. I have a custom brush that has only the life symbol, my tag. But here I'm basically just showing how I'm using different color saturation, darker colors, but not necessarily blackened, but they're still juicy and saturated. And I'm kind of just shadowing, making it sort of darker where the wrinkles are on the cloth, because this logo was put on top of her shoulder. It did not have it in the AI version did not have the logo. So I'm simulating that the logo is stitched onto her arm, if you understand. Here I show how I have a custom life brush. So my logo is on a brush tip. So you can basically come in and paint in the word on a separate layer. See how it's very large and crisp. It's very clean, very, just really clean. And again, this whole image is a very low image. It's only 1K, so I should have doubled this up before I started doing details like logos and shapes that have graphic quality to them. Here I am just adjusting the colors so it pops off the shoulder a little better. So next I start to, I think, just show you the layers of, clean skin on her shoulder, on her face, on her cheek, how I really like kind of had to come in and clean that up because sometimes the AI will give me defects and, little artifacts on the skin. And again, this is a trained AI. So here I am, I'm showing you my website to verify how much hand painted art that I do, because there is a stigma with AI that basically, it's just you type in a word, type in a prompt, and then all of a sudden you got art. This is like me and my art for over 30 years. This is all digital illustration before AI. No AI at all. So I trained all my AI model based off of my art. This right here is a 3D sculpture, no AI, fully 3D sculpted in the computer. Every shape, every pore, every hair, every eyelash. That's all 3D sculpted. So my AI model that I created is trained off of things like this. All of my women that I've painted, this here is an airbrush piece of a Mexican goddess, Aztec goddess, Latin goddess, and she is all of her jewelry, her hair, that is all trained into my AI model. Her hair, her accessories, her clothing. That's why you see a lot of these have this futuristic sort of jewelry, headdresses. Their hair is flowing in the similar way because they're all trained off of my life art for 20 years, like I said. Even just maybe, let's just say, the past 10 years, my spray paint, airbrush, my digital art. So it's all kind of like able to create new pieces of art based off of my style and my aesthetics. There are obviously defects, and some things like eyeballs are not round and they need to be fixed, and skin tones or things, artifacts in the background, I put my logo. Sometimes the graffiti shapes are not necessarily how I would prefer, so I have to go in and edit and clean them. But this is me showing again back to that logo where the shadow, I forgot, was very juicy, like too saturated blue, very vibrant. So I believe I go in and I'm still trying to figure out Procreate because I'm new to it. So here I'm fixing the color vibrancy and saturation to make it more dull and not so juicy vibrant, because the shadow shouldn't be so colorful. And I think that works a lot better. And like I said, it's a kind of low quality image. I really shouldn't have worked with logos, graphics with such low pixels, like pixelated 1080p or whatever. It should be at least, 2K to 4K if you really want to get like a crisp logo. But here I am showing that, oh yeah, I have a logo brush, so blah blah blah. It's not really like a big deal, but yeah, like, so I would come in, I would put the new logo, and then I would bend it and manipulate it by using the tools, warp, and you'll see here I'm warping it, and I would bend it to fit her breasts and her chest or her shoulder or whatever, wherever the logo needs to go. And that's sort of me just explaining that. But again, I would rather this be a double the size document, canvas. Cool. So moving along, I noticed that the shine on the headphones, the bling bling, is like aqua blue, where the center of that shine should be very like pure white. It should be super like sparkle, like the bridges in the background, they have that lime green with the bling bling. So I'm kind of noticing that here, and I'm like, oh, I gotta cut that out. Let me see how I can fix this. So I realized that the peak, the middle center of that shine is sort of a dull, well, it's like aqua. So I'm like, oh, it needs to be white. I realized it. So I used the selection tools and I cut it out and I made a copy and paste. I'm new to Procreate. I used to use Pocket Procreate for years, but on the iPad. So I'm realizing, okay, cool, I got a copy on another layer, and I'm going to set that layer to screen, so it actually still utilizes the aqua blue, but it also shows the white that's underneath, because the layer underneath has pure white. And here you go. I start to turn it to lighten screen, and I utilize that bling bling, but it now has pure brightness, like actually glowing sparkle, shine, reflectivity, a peak of light, specular light. And then I'm erasing around, cleaning up the copy from the layer that's underneath, and I think I mess up and I realize, oh, I'm painting the wrong layer. Yeah, that's what I did. So the one that's on top, anyway, it's like technical stuff, but basically I have a I have to erase the bottom version, and then the top version I want to be a bright, bright bling, 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 a ling, a ling, a ling, a ling, a ling. So anyway, moving along, this is the kind of slow stuff. It's not that exciting to talk about, but if you're an artist, you'd probably geek out with me. Some of the bling, bling in the orange on the left side of your left, the helmet, those little glowing lights in orange, those little peaks, those electric shock looking patterns, those are all hand painted. The graffiti shapes behind her hair, like at the top of her head, I would probably change those, because those are what my AI model gave me based off of my graffiti and the shapes that I do. I would change those. And yeah, I think here I just ended and I just said, all right, thanks for your time. Peace. So thanks for your time. Peace. Actually, it's not over. So I did upload this image to Kling and made an image to video. I prefer Gen 3, but check out this. And thanks for watching. Oh, also, make sure you stay tuned for LiFe MuZes, a collection of, say, 2 to 3K, one of one NFTs by LiFe. Peace.